The glory of this latter house shall be greater than of the former, saith Yah of hosts. And in this place will I give peace, saith Yah of hosts. So the Most High is saying the glory of this latter house shall be greater than that of the former house. The latter house that the Most High is speaking of is that third temple, because clearly we know he's not talking about the house that Zerubbabel built, because he said clearly that the house that Zerubbabel built pales in comparison to the house that Solomon built. That's the first house. So he's saying here in verse 9, the glory of this latter house shall be greater than that of the former. So the former that he's speaking of is going to be that first house, because the second house that was built by Zerubbabel pales in comparison to that of the first that was built by Solomon. However, that third temple is going to be greater than the former, that former being the one that Solomon built. And you do not have a third temple now, though these people have been in the land, because they are not the people of the Most High. The Most High said that he will give peace in that place. There is no peace there. You already know that. There's uprisings there. There's homosexuality there. There's lying and bribe taken there. There's weapons of war there. There's misuse and abuse of the strangers there. All right. Verse 10. In the 24th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of Yah by Haggai the prophet, saying, Thus saith Yah of hosts, ask now the priests concerning the law, saying, If one bear holy flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt do touch bread, or pottage, or wine, or oil, or any meat, shall it be holy? And the priest answered and said, No. Then saith Haggai, If one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priest answered and said, It shall be unclean. Then answered Haggai and said, So is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith Yah, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean. That's speaking to that temple that Zerubbabel built. And now I pray you, consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in this temple of Yah. So consider from this day upward, before the first stone was laid on that second temple, your hands were unclean. This whole temple, the Most High has got nothing to do with it. For your hands were unclean when you laid the first brick. And that's why that temple was considered as nothing compared to the first one that Solomon had built. And that's why when the third one is built, it's going to be greater than the former. That former being the one that Solomon built, because the second one don't count. All right. Since those days, when one came to a heap of 20 measures, that there were but 10. When one came to the press fat, for to draw out 50 vessels out of the press, there were but 20. Meaning, the house of Israel never had enough. What we had, it was not sufficient, because we weren't walking in the Most High's law, statutes, judgments, and precepts. So we had a wanting for things. I smote you with blasting, and with mildew, and with hail in all the labors of your hands. Yet ye turn not to me, saith Yah. Everything that we're trying, the Most High is cutting us off. The labors of our hands, we're not rewarded for it. We have not considered why we continue to work hard, do all these different things, and it profit us for nothing. We don't understand why these things happen. Excuse me. Consider now from this day and upward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of Yah's temple was laid. Consider it. So that's what you're to do, Israel. You're to consider it. Verse 19. Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, as yet the vine and the fig tree and the pomegranate and the olive tree have not brought forth. From this day will I bless you. And again, the word of Yah came unto Haggai in the 24th day of the month, saying, Speak to Zerubbabel, governor of Judah, saying, I will shake the heavens and the earth. I will overthrow the throne of kingdoms. I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen. It's going to destroy them. That's what you're seeing. And I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them, and the horses and their riders shall come down, every one by the sword of his brother. That's the tank drivers. That's the plane pilots flying the war aircrafts and everything else. Most High is going to bring them down. In that day, saith Yah of hosts, will I take thee, O Zerubbabel, my servant, son of Shealtiel, saith Yah, and will make thee as a signet, for I have chosen thee, saith Yah. So we have just covered Haggai chapter 2. That way we understand clearly pertaining to this house of the Most High and exactly the comfort that the Most High will bring to us when we return to the land. And we're seeing that there's no comfort being brought to those Israelis sitting in that land. All right, very last chapter. We're going to deal with Jeremiah chapter 16. And once I'm finished with Jeremiah chapter 16, that will conclude this lesson or these series of lessons. List them mine enemies, the enemies without. All right. Jeremiah 16. All right. This is the last scroll that we're going to read here to finish out this series of lessons, to finish out this indictment. All right. Jeremiah chapter 16 and verse 1 of Jeremiah chapter 16 reads, The word of Yah came also unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. For thus saith Yah concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be mourned, lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowl of heaven and for the beast of the earth. So for the fowls of the heavens and the beasts of the earth, the Most High killed us off so bad, our bodies weren't even buried. So you know the Most High is not to be played with. Verse 5, For thus saith Yah, Enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament, nor bemoan them. For I have taken away my peace from this people, saith Yah, even loving kindness and mercies. So the Most High took away his peace from us, took away his ever-loving kindness and his mercies from us. And once we lose that protection, it's on. That's how we get busted in the head. Because our tender mercies and the ever-loving kindness of the Most High was taken away. And we can get it all back. All we have to do is turn to these laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. Verse 6, Both the great and the small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning, to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or for their mother. Now you know that's an ugly situation right there. Verse 8, Thou shalt not also go into the house of feasting, to sit with them, to eat and to drink. So Jeremiah getting strict instructions on what he's not supposed to do with these foul people. Verse 9, For thus saith Yah of hosts, the strength of Israel, Behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes and in your days the voice of mirth, that's laughter, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride. Most High was going to bring evil upon the house of Israel. Verse 10, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath Yah pronounced all this great evil against us? Or what is our sin? What is our iniquity? Why is the Most High breaking us off like this? Or what is our sin that we have committed against the Most High Yah? Verse 11, then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith Yah, and have walked after other gods, idols, and have served them, idols, and have worshipped them, idols, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law. So if you're wondering why we're getting busted over the head, we've turned to JC. We believe now that there is no law, and the Most High is telling us clearly here that the reason why we're going through what we're going through is because we turned our backs on him, took a hold of these idols, and then we decided we weren't going to keep his law. So you're getting that clear. Verse 12, and ye have done worse than your fathers. For behold, ye walk everyone after the imagination of his evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. So when you hear the words of the Most High, you don't want to hearken unto him. You going to hear, thus saith Yah, my son is Israel. Israel is my firstborn. You're going to say, no, Paul said this. Uncle Charlie said that. That's where you're at. And that's why you're getting busted upside your head on a daily basis. Therefore, will I cast you out of this land, into a land that you know of not. Now, where were Israelis, where were Jews casted into a land that they knew not? It's never happened. They knew Germany. They know Belarus. They know the Russian conclaves over there in the Eastern Bloc of Europe. They know these areas. They're from these areas. All right. So the Most High said he would kick us out of his land and put us in a place that are in a land that we knew not. When we got into these very lands, we didn't know these lands. We didn't know them. We were strangers in these lands. We did not know these lands. The Jew has always known Germany. He's always known Belarus. He's always known the Ukraine. He's always known Yugoslavia. He's always known Poland. He lives there. He's from there. All right. So the Most High said that, therefore I will cast you out of this land, that's verse 13, into a land that ye know not, neither ye nor your forefathers. We didn't know these places. And there shall ye serve other gods, day and night, where I will show you no favor. I'm going to break you off. So here we are in these lands, serving these other gods, and the Most High breaking us off day and night, and we're not being shown any favor. Last I checked, all Jews practice Judaism. No matter what land they're in, that's what they do. That's what they do. Now, the Most High said clearly he's going to put us in these lands, and he would show us no favor. We wouldn't have the power to lend any money to anyone. We would have the power to pay off any lobby and form lobbying groups to buy politicians. We wouldn't have that kind of money. We wouldn't have that kind of influence. All right. Verse 14, therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yah, that it shall no more be said, Yah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. So once again, we're covering this again. The day is going to come where we're not going to be discussing about the Most High bringing us out of Egypt via the Exodus. Verse 15, but Yah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land, and I will give unto them, or give unto their fathers, the land that I gave unto their fathers. So, we're still talking about the Exodus today, but the Most High said the day is going to come that we will no longer speak of the Exodus out of Egypt. The Most High said, verse 15, but Yah liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again in their land, in the land that I gave unto their forefathers. So where were the Jews, where were these Israelis driven? They weren't driven into any of these lands. They gathered Israelis from all kind of places. Asian ones, try to pick some up from Africa. The ones that came from Africa, they sterilized them. The ones from Europe, they get all the benefits. Ain't nobody sterilizing them European ones, right? So they all in the land on the false pretense, trying to pretend that they're the people of the Most High. So we know it's not them, because we're still talking about the Exodus today. And the Most High gathered his people from all the lands where he drove them. No Israeli has been driven into any lands, any place on this earth. They have gotten to these lands by immigration. And when they get there, they change their names. This is fact. Verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yah, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill out of the holes of the rocks. There's going to be no place to hide. You can't hide in these silos and these bunkers. Most High is going to get you up out of there. All right. Verse 17. For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes, from mine eyes. Verse 18. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. I told you that we were cursed double. Therefore we will be redeemed, and our blessings will be double. So that's what we just read. Let me reread verse 18. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled mine inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Verse 19. O Yah, my strength, and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. So, all these nations, all these heathen, they're going to have to admit the truth. Like I've said, the very people that told you a lie and told you a multitude of lies are going to be the very people that's going to have to tell you the truth. So, verse 19, once again, pertaining to them. They done told you JC died for you on the cross of Calvary and all that madness. And then they're going to have to come back and tell you, you know, we are in error. We have inherited lies. Most High, we are sorry. Forgive us. Here are your people. Spare our lives and our loved ones. And we will walk in your laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. And we will walk after these idols and the idols of our fathers no more. The heathen is going to have to do all this. And you're going to have to see it. So verse 19, we will read that for effect. O Yah, my strength, and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction, when that beatdown is going to come. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth. All these Gentiles coming up to the Most High, bringing his people, bringing that gold from Fort Knox, begging and asking for forgiveness. That way they don't get dusted off. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth. They're all coming. And shall say, surely, Most High, our fathers have taught us lies. We have inherited lies. We have inherited vanity and things wherein there is no profit. That is the heathen coming up to the Most High, making that admission. And we're going to hear it because we're going to be there. Verse 20. Shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? Shall a man go up in the woods, cut down a tree, carve out another man sitting on it half naked, and call that God? Can a man really do that? These ain't gods. These are idols. These are dumb idols. Verse 21. Therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know. I will cause them to know mine hand and my might, and they shall know that my name is Yah, not JC. So how is he going to cause us to know his might? It's going to break them off. There's going to be a clear separation between his people and those who are walking his laws and those who will not. So that covers the very last chapter, the very last scroll, covering list them mine enemies. We've gone through 10 or 12 scrolls laying out plainly the indictment against our enemies. Now, what you were to do with these lessons is to go through these scrolls carefully, and then you go start doing your research, finding out exactly who's sitting in the land, find out what they're going through, look at their news, and see if what's taking place in the land lines up with this prophecy. Now, as this lesson hits the airways, and I have started this lesson and now it is completed, this word is now officially out for the people to look at it, to analyze it, and to consider it. For you to hear this word, for you to have the understanding of this word, for the Most High to allow you to see this word. Now that you've heard it, now you're going to have to bear witness to it. So what I can tell you is stand by for what is getting ready to take place in the land of Israel, and what's going to take place to the people that's in the land of Israel, and what you're going to get ready to see that's going to take place in the lands of the heathen. Stand by for it. You cannot begin to imagine what's going to take place. You're reading it, but when you see it firsthand, it's going to be a terror. So, this concludes the series of lessons, list them mine enemies, for they are exactly that, our enemies, and we are to be mindful of them. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. We are to remain in the Most High's laws, statutes, judgments, and precepts. We are to teach the children of Israel first, and we are also to teach those who are of a contrite spirit, that is of the nations that are seeking after the Most High and his righteousness. We are not to deny the stranger this knowledge in any way, shape, or form. So we are to remember those things. We are to be an example of this law. We are to magnify it and make it honorable, and to give glory unto the Most High and his holy name. And we are not to blaspheme the Most High and pollute his name in the midst of the heathen. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Peace, Israel. That concludes this lesson. Part 6. This is actually the 7th part, because I had to break this video up, of list them mine enemies, the enemies without. Peace, Israel, and Yah bless.